offer our sincere condolences to you, through you, to the family, the government and the people of Botswana for the loss of our dear colleague. And the fact that, I repeat, that you're here with those circumstances underscores the value to which you attach to our relationship. Zambia and Botswana have been partners, friends, neighbors for many years since we both got our independence, 1964 for ourselves, I believe 1966 for yourselves. We have cultivated a very strong partnership, family, if I may say so. Botswanas and Zambians share a lot in common, not just the border, physical border, by the way, drawn by us, by people seated in Berlin sometime, years back, and sometimes cut families and separated them into two different countries. So we have a lot of commonalities, people to people. Language, I must say, as you were singing your national anthem, I know my Minister of Infrastructure probably would have tried to join you because he speaks the language. I understand the language myself by virtue of that proximity. But so is the case with many Zambians. But more importantly, business to business, we have shared a lot of experiences, interactions, common interests. As this afternoon, Mr. President, you'll be visiting our United Capital Fertilizers. That company has some Botswana money in it because it was able to raise money on the Botswana Stock Exchange and evolving into not just a national player, but a regional player in terms of fertilizer production and therefore exports into the region. This is the kind of partnership that we have cultivated for ourselves, Your Excellency, Mr. President, my brother, but also we have other businesses that, in my view, really, we would like to encourage to work together. Two economies must work together, exploit each other's capabilities, and we ought to move to a point where it becomes automatic when Botswana is importing certain commodities Zambia produces, it's automatic that the source will be Zambia, and vice versa. I've given the President an example when we were in our private room there that trucks should move from here across our common asset, the Kazungula Bridge, into Kasane, into Botswana, carrying feedstock manufactured to spec the Botswana need. And when it returns over the same bridge, it must carry both salt, Botswana salt, just to reinforce the point I'm making. And why should this country import salt from Europe and leave salt next door? Cheaper, I'm talking of a landed cost, because it's next door, obtained next door. And the trucks will return with full loads, which makes it commercially sensible for such an operator of transport. But more importantly, by that kind of trade, Your Excellency, we will be keeping the money in the region. And that's the capital we should use to develop other businesses and across each other's borders. And we contain negative vices. We then can focus on the developmental agenda. I think ministers, technical teams, this is what the presidents would like to see going forward. Razor focus on deliverables as opposed to processes, not to meet to discuss by conclusion when the next meeting should take place, but to meet to drive deliverables, to meet to discuss the results of the efforts that we've made for our two economies and what else we need to do so we can make that as a habit. I know governments like working in a certain way, but I think processes are important, but outcomes are more important. So the President and I would like to see us working together at the regional level. We want to thank, Mr. President, your support, Botswana's support to the Zambian candidate, SADC candidate to the African Development Bank. Botswana remained steadfast in that direction, and we want to commit to you that Zambia will do the same when we have Botswana who is vying for office in the region, Africa, and beyond the global community. With the trade wars going on, Mr. President, I return to economy, investment, trade. We have an obligation to do more with each other. And our teams, cabinets, must be alive to the changes that are happening to the global environment. And we must take advantage of that. Mr. President, I want to end here and thank the teams, our technical teams, our ministers, and now ourselves, but for the work done so far. I think it should ease our meeting today. And I want to close by saying, President, thank you for staying a day more to officiate at our agricultural show tomorrow. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, my dear colleagues from both sides. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. It is now my honor to invite Advocate Duma Gideon Boko, President of the Republic of Botswana, to deliver his opening remarks.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, my dear brother, President of the Republic of Zambia, let me acknowledge you with warmth and gratitude. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of the Republic of Zambia, Mulambo Haimbe, the Minister of International Relations, Republic of Botswana, Dr. Penyo Gutale, ministers from both countries here present, and I was complaining earlier that each time I've been here, there's one particular minister who is a friend of mine whom I worked with at the SADC Parliamentary Forum and whom I keep missing. And so I've requested that I be brought into contact with the Minister of Finance, Dr. Musokotai. High Commissioners of our two countries, permanent secretaries, senior government officials, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. While we are extremely happy to be here, we do not forget that we are two nations in mourning. Zambia has lost its sixth president. Botswana recently lost its Minister of Lands and Agriculture, whom we will bury this Sunday. Reflexes of grief might have conspired to keep us away from each other, but we've managed to accept that we are grieving, but also to continue the efforts that those who have fallen, would have wanted us to continue to pursue. So I extend my sympathies to the Republic of Zambia and the people of Zambia. I must thank you for your hospitality. We have two countries that have worked together, have related, and that relationship is a chronicle of deep friendship, deep connections, deep affinities. We are here to strengthen this relationship. It is rooted in history, a shared destiny. We drink from the well springs that shaped the Lozi, the different tribes and nations that make up the state of Zambia, and the different tribes and nations that have come together, become somewhat homogeneous in Botswana to form the government, the state of Botswana. We have borders that separate us, but borders that should not keep us away from each other. We should not allow ourselves to become hostages of the different spaces on the African continent that we happen to occupy. We must reach out to each other and come together. We have elevated our relationship, our bilateral cooperation, from the level of the Joint Permanent Commission on Cooperation to a binational commission. This is very important. It marks a growth, a step of advance in our relationship. It reflects our shared commitment to promoting high-level dialogue, monitor implementation of bilateral agreements, facilitate the alignment of policies and priorities between our two nations, and to deepen ties across multiple sectors. The BNC is therefore to all of us a call to action. It affords us an opportunity to reflect on the progress we've achieved thus far, while confronting the challenges that remain. We must use this moment to ensure that the decisions that we take here today translate into concrete, measurable outcomes that bring tangible benefits to the lives of our citizens in the areas of trade, infrastructure development, energy, agriculture, education, tourism, and security, to mention just a few. Mr. President, let me take a moment to commend the completion of the Kazungula Bridge and associated one-stop border post. This bridge extends far beyond its magnificent and imposing physical structure. It is a powerful symbol of effective cooperation and a shared vision in advancing connectivity and sustainable development by easing any strictures on the movement of people and goods along the north-south corridor. And it fully attests to what we can accomplish when we work together with purpose and unity. Much remains to be done, though, and this inaugural BNC provides a strategic platform to think boldly and act decisively in advancing our shared commitment to infrastructure development, trade facilitation, and regional integration. Consequently, at the heart of our agenda should be a renewed and purposeful commitment to the broader commitments and objectives of the African Continental Free Trade Area, centered on transforming the continent into a single integrated market to foster sustainable economic development, boost intra-African trade, promote industrialization and value addition, attract investment, enhance regional competitiveness, and support inclusive and sustainable development. Furthermore, the effective and sustainable management of our shared resources, most notably the Zambezi River, requires the same coordinated and forward-looking approach that ensures equitable access and long-term sustainability. It is our collective responsibility to safeguard these vital natural resources for the benefit of generations present and generations yet to come, while harnessing the potential to drive inclusive and sustainable socio-economic development. Mr. President, our agenda must also prioritize our most valuable resource, our youth. We must promote youth empowerment and equip young people with relevant skills that prepare not just them, but our countries for the demands of the fourth industrial revolution. If we do so, we will ensure our competitiveness in a rapidly changing world, and we will also unlock the potential of our youth as drivers of innovation, productivity, and sustainable development. Often when the knowledge economy is mentioned, the assumption, and indeed the practice, is that we will consume knowledge generated elsewhere, in the production and development of which we've played absolutely no role. Mobilizing the marauding energies and intellectual capabilities of our young people enables us to also play our part in contributing to the storehouse of knowledge from which the whole world must benefit. We must also contribute to the best that is thought and known by the world, and we can do so if we deploy the energies and capabilities of our young people. And we must do this through joint initiatives in education, entrepreneurship, and innovation. We must cultivate a generation of forward-thinking leaders, innovators, and change makers. This must, in a sense, serve as a jailbreak of the imagination. We need to break out of the frozen crust of practices that have worked at certain times but have become outdated. We must now develop rapidly on the trot styles and practices of operating that are new, some of which are radical, in response to the context-bound predicament that we all face. We must deploy context-smashing ideas and potentialities. This is what all of us, the intelligentsia of our continent, are called upon to do. Our efforts will amount to nothing. We would have failed our countries, would have failed our continent if we are not at the forefront of generating knowledge and also drawing from indigenous learning and knowledge. And in this regard, we have our sages in our villages, our wise people, who are our libraries in relation to indigenous knowledge. We need to be able to tap on that wisdom and mobilize the potential. So we need joint capacity building initiatives. We need to share information. We need policy harmonization between our countries. And our cooperation must yield tangible outcomes that we now must begin to measure and account for to our principals, the ordinary people who look to us for solutions to the trenchant problems that trouble them on a daily basis. Let me conclude by reaffirming Botswana's unwavering commitment to this strategic partnership between Botswana and Zambia. We look forward to deepening this collaboration for the prosperity of our two nations, the broader advancement of the agenda, and the prosperity of the Southern African Development Community, and indeed of the entire African continent. This is a propitious moment in time, moment in history. And as the great saying goes, in relation to a moment as propitious as this one, the ancient Romans said, "Carpe diem," seize the moment. Let us seize this moment. Let us act. Let us take strides, bold, confident strides into a future that is spectacularly different from what we've seen thus far. Thank you very, very much. It humbles me to be here with you today and to take part in this important gathering. Thank you very, very much.